I went into 400 level feeling extremely confused, wondering how I was going to write my final year project by myself, let alone actually pass. Yet I managed to graduate with an A on my project and also get one of the highest scores in my department. And I did all that without having to pay someone hundreds of thousands of naira to write my project for me because I did it by myself. Hi guys, my name is Catherine. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and I make self-development content for the girlies. Today I'm going to tell you all the unconventional things that I did that I know is the reason why I was able to get an A on my project, even though I wrote the project by myself. I say even though because a lot of people think that to get an A on your project, you need someone else to write it for you, but my love, that is definitely not the case. So let's just get into the video. The first thing I did was that I treated my project like an actual thing with a problem that I wanted to solve and not like this abstract concept that just came with final year and I just had to do before I graduated, right? That's the problem with a lot of people. They just look at the project as like, oh, it's just this thing that we're supposed to do before we graduate. Nobody knows how it's done. Nobody's telling us how it's done. We just have to do it. And that's why I'm going to pay someone else to do it for me. No, I literally went into this like, okay, what is this? It's a research project, a thesis. What you're basically going into it doing is that you're looking into your industry, your field, you're trying to spot, okay, a problem, right? A problem that is like really niche to you and your industry. And you're going to do research about it, find out, info about it, and offer solutions. That's literally all a project is. The reason why I believe I was able to get an A is because I actually went into it with that mindset. I didn't just think of it as like this random thing. No, I knew that there's a problem that I really wanted to solve, a problem I was really interested in. And I just went into it and I was like, okay, I'm going to try and solve this problem. It's not an abstract concept. It's not just a thing that you have to do before you graduate. It's like it's a research project. You have to go into it with that mindset. And because I did that, I know that that is one of the reasons why I was able to get an A in it. So you need to go into it with the mindset of, okay, I'm just trying to look for a problem and provide solutions based off the research I have carried out on this topic. You get what I mean? And that brings me to the second thing that I did, which was to pick a topic that I actually liked because I knew I was doing this by myself and I was going into this trying to like genuinely trying to solve a real life problem and like offer solutions and like do research and create awareness of this. I picked a topic that I liked. Actually, I picked several topics that I liked because I knew my supervisor had to be the one to like pick the best one that they thought would be good for me. So every single thing that I gave her, these are my list of topics, were all things I was genuinely interested in and knew that if I was really going into this, like I'd actually like it. So my advice for you right now is to really dig deep into your course, into your field, into your industry. What are you really interested in? What aspect of your course actually gives you joy? If you're studying something you don't like, then I'm actually sorry. But if you're doing a project by yourself and you want to have a good experience while doing it and you want to get the highest grade possible, then you're really going to need to like dig deep and find out, okay, what topic do I actually like? What thing do I actually like? What are my interests in this field? My topic was literally this, and I'm about to read it from my iPad, so that's why I'm looking this way because I can't remember. But it was relationship between motherhood and women's career progression among selected organizations in Lagos State. That was even after some tweaking by my supervisor. I'm a feminist. I plan to have a career, but I also want to be a mother. And I was like, okay, that interests me. I want to see what the research is saying, what the statistics is saying about the relationship between these two. Is one hindering the other? Like I was genuinely curious, and that was why I was able to pick that kind of topic. And the whole project was so interesting to do, though it was hard. Like it was very hard, right? It's not easy to write a whole thesis, but I was really interested. I was really happy about the research I was doing and the interviews I did and the answers I got from all the moms that filled my form. So because I was so interested, I believe that I was able to translate into my work and how I wrote and even how I did the presentation during my defense. So yeah, my advice for you is to dig deep and pick a topic that you actually like and that you're actually interested in. The next thing I did was that I only used research methods that I could actually do and that I actually understood. So in psychology, I don't know whether this applies to other fields, like I genuinely don't know, but then there's like two different, no wait, I think it should. Yeah, there's two different research methods. There's the qualitative and there's the quantitative. I did the qualitative because the quantitative is like a lot of numbers, a lot of calculation, a lot of that. But I was like, no, I'm gonna do qualitative. I'm gonna do interviews because they're easier to do. I'm not going to stress myself because this thing is already hard. I'm not going to like make it harder than it needs to be. I only chose research methods and design. What do you call those things? Research design, right? Yeah, I think so. So I only chose those methods that I know that I understand and that I can do by myself, I beg. Because why am I going to go and figure out things that I already don't know, that I don't have time to figure out because final year is a packed year? It's like, okay, let me just choose the easier option that makes more sense to me. Now, when you're going into doing your project, find out about the different like research methods, the different ways that something can be done in the project, and figure out the one that is most natural to you, or will I say is the easiest for you to carry out. It would make your life a whole lot easier. Another thing that I did that I'm really happy that I did was that I read a lot of other people's projects, not with the intention to copy, but to kind of get inspired, to understand how the structure works, to understand what your project looks like. Because again, you're going into this, nobody to see somebody that will help you. Omo, it was just my supervisor at the time that literally just gathered people in my department and was like, okay, hey, I'm going to show you how to write a project, which was so amazing. I was so grateful. But I think that's just a privilege of mine. I don't know if that thing can apply to everybody, but nobody's going to show you what to do. So it's up to you to figure out what the structure of a project is, what it looks like, what you have to do. So yeah, I read other people's projects. I read projects that had a similar topic, that were in the same field, like psychology. I read projects from people who had the same supervisor as me, like in the past, just to understand what my supervisor may like, or what she may suggest, or just the structure of everything basically. Doing that helped me so much because I now had clarity, right? I now knew what an introduction looked like. I now knew what a literature review looked like. I now knew how to present your analysis and everything like that. So my advice for you is to take time to read, look at, or skim through other people's projects from your school, from outside your school, from the same industry. It helps you, understand everything a whole lot better and gives you inspiration on what to do. Another thing is starting on time. This I didn't even do, but it was towards the end that I realized the importance, when I couldn't go back, obviously, the importance of starting on time. And so that's what I've come to advise you. I'm making this video now in the summer because most schools are resuming, like maybe September, maybe October-ish. But sha, if entry final year starts now, like, see, you don't have time. You don't have time, my love. You don't have time. You would be so grateful that I started on time and finished on time. I'm telling you. I remember when it was getting closer to the end ish, I think, maybe. And I was speaking to one of my friends and he just couldn't relate to my stress and my problems because he had finished his own project. This was in like March, I think. Yeah, he had finished his own project and I was like, Jesus Christ, wow. So my advice is to start on time. Start disturbing your supervisor from now. Get all your projects, at least like at entering school. Start with that. List all the projects, list all the topics that you are interested in. Start disturbing your supervisor, get your topic approved. Some people have already started this because most serious schools, most serious departments do this from like the ending of 300 level, which is great. So depending on your situation, get it approved, start working on it, start doing the research, because if you're doing this by yourself, you need a lot of time to understand what you're doing, to really get into it, to really get interested in it. Don't act like you have the whole year. Act like you have 3 months. I just work with that time. Now you'll be so happy and grateful that you finished on time, so that you can enjoy, the social activities that come with final year. Because that's another thing. Final year, at least for me in my school, was super packed. Like we had field trips, we had different events, lots of events, from departmental events to college events to a whole lot of things, to final year only events. And I feel like I would have been a lot less stressed during those events if I had finished on time. And me, I'm a social girl. I will go for all the events, I will go for all the parties, because that is just who I am. Do not be like me, start on time, so that when you are reaching the end, you are not stressed and you can even read for your exams very well. Let me know which of these you're doing. Let me know if this video was helpful. Comment your possible project topic in the comment section. I'd love to see them. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.